Hey everyone, Revan here, and welcome back to Feed the Beast University, where today, fingers crossed, we're going to hopefully get into applied energistics and get our first ME system set up. So sit back, enjoy the video, and let's see what we can't get done. Before we kick off this episode, I actually kind of want to just show you guys around this building real quick. This is essentially what the building looks like straight out of prefab. This is the welcome center. Kind of looks like it's supposed to be more of like a server hub type of building, but I have different plans for it. But so yeah, if you build this thing, it comes up here, you get some storage, furnaces, you got some bunk beds over there, kind of got like a little barracks room over here, and you actually do get a downstairs. It's nothing really special, but if I can remember where it is, there is a I swear there is a downstairs. Okay, so yeah, it's just hidden very well. Yeah, it's just a little basement thing. There's not really nothing of use down here, just some wood, pumpkins and melons and stuff like that. But yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to essentially gut this place, and we are going to use it for immersive engineering. We can set up various machines, and I'll kind of make it like a warehouse, and then probably just have some sort of pier coming off the side of here, like a dock or something. I'm not sure. We'll figure that out when we get there. But I actually wanted to start today off by upgrading our ore miner that we have here. I'm just grabbing all the pieces one by one because shift clicking things out of here. I don't know if my mouse is broke or what it is, but it seems to double, triple, quadruple click things out. So we're going to dismantle this guy right here. There we go. And we're going to take these two power conduits off. And I think we just need to break this top brick, and then we can actually use our assembler here. I think it's just shift right clicking these blocks, and they'll just auto break. So, oh no, come back. All right, we got you. Kind of have to be careful around the holes here, but yeah, so much easier now that we have flight. I can just, something drops down there, I can just swing down and pick it up here. I am going to rebuild this in the same location, mainly because of the fact that I haven't cleared this area out over here. But I'm going to gut this farm as well, and I think I'm going to move the miners over here. I don't know if there'll be enough room to get 2 of the level 6 ones in here, but we'll probably at least be able to get 1. And then we can actually kind of inset it into the ground a little bit as well. But these guys, again, super easy to set up. Let me just get rid of the items that we're not gonna need. Where are you? Tier 1 frames we don't need, and void ore miner tier 1. All right, so we'll just plop you on. There we go, and then we just hold right click and this will build for us. All right, it is assembled. It is currently using 1,479 RF per tick, which is being offset by our solar panel, which we still haven't fully upgraded because I'm lazy, to this one. Yeah, it's about 3,000 something. So we have about 2,000 RF a tick extra, which is why we have these capacitor banks set here, because that way, this will fill up during the day, and then at night it still has plenty of energy to run, so we don't have to worry about that. I did include 2 speed modifiers. I eventually want to get up to the accuracy modifier, but yeah, we don't have we don't have the required parts yet. I think the part you need for the accuracy miner comes from this one, I think. But we'll just toss our ender chest right back here. And yeah, we should be good. All right, so I've done a little bit more of the rearranging down here. I've kind of continued the walls along the side. I'm still leaving the drawers here. I'm not 100% sure that I actually want to utilize these barrels, not the drawers, yeah, the barrel system. But I'm kind of leaving it there just in case I decide to. I think what's going to depend upon is how much wall space we actually need for machines, because the machines that I want to keep in here are primarily going to be the ones that we need to automate. So we have the 2 sag mills, the alloy smelters, and so on and so forth. And eventually we'll be having item interfaces on the top of them for Applied Energistics to automate some of our patterns and whatnot. So we still have this whole wall that we can utilize. And then behind here, I just dug a little bit of a tunnel around. It doesn't go all the way around because we still have our water wheel here. I will be removing this water wheel fairly soon, but I'm not 100% confident in the thingamadoohickey that we built, the gas burning generator. I want that to be up and running for a little bit so that I feel confident, and then I can just kind of take that guy out in the background over there. But in order for us to get into Applied Energistics, there are a few basics that we're going to have to take care of. First off, we've already went out and collected the presses. We just flew around looking for asteroids. So we have a couple duplicates. We've only found 1 silicon, but that's all we really need. But in this pack, we also have, I think it's called Lazy AE or something like that. So a lot of there's going to be certain machines that it allows us to build that are going to make our lives a heck of a lot easier. So that's one of the reasons I'm looking forward to get into AE in this pack. I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe channels are turned on. So we are actually, going to have to worry about how we set everything up. So we might have to go into P2P tunnels fairly quickly. But today, the ultimate goal is to get a couple drives set up and get our items transferred over to that. So things that we're going to need right off the bat, we're going to need a ME drive, an ME controller. Obviously, we're going to need some glass cabling. And where was this? An ME terminal. Oh, no, we need an ME crafting terminal. So where did you hide off? There you go. ME crafting terminal. So those are going to be the basic things that we need. We're also eventually going to want to try to get into a battery of some sort. And for ME, it is these energy cells. They essentially act as batteries for the system. Applied Energistics is not well known for being completely lagless. So there will be times where your system, although it is constantly producing energy and you have enough energy, for whatever reason, the system either draws too much or there's like a little bit of a hiccup, and you'll get things where you can't place items into your system, or the screen will kind of gray out. And that's usually because of the fact you're temporarily losing power. So having a couple of these energy cells and eventually a dense energy cell on there or two will help you out a great deal. Also, in order to get into ME, we're actually going to need to make an inscriber, and we're going to need to get an energy acceptor and actually in order for all of this stuff to run before we have the system up and running, if that makes sense. So let's grab this guy over here. All right. So first thing, inscribers, we're going to need to make a couple sticky pistons. And we have no fluix crystals. I thought we had some, but these guys, we just need charged certus quartz, nether quartz, and redstone. All right, and these guys, we just want to give ourselves a little bit of a hole here. Toss a bucket of water in, and we're just going to drop all of these items into the water itself, and then they should start transferring over into fluix crystals here. There we go. So we ended up with 2 stacks of fluix. We'll just throw that in there. We'll leave the water for now, as we may need to make more. All right, so let's pop this guy, just some iron, some good old stuff and things and stuff. And we can just toss you down there for now. All right, so the next thing we need to do is an energy acceptor. So this is just going to be looks like quartz glass, iron, and everything else. And of course, we're missing the quartz glass. So for this stuff, we just need some crushed quartz and some glass here. So just make us, I was gonna say a stack, but apparently our ability to to prepare any type of glass or anything like that is severely lacking. All right, there we go. We ended up with 36, which is not going to be enough, but it'll make do. All right, energy acceptor. Gib. Thank you. So this guy, we can just essentially set right there. And where is our power cell? There we go. We'll just throw in a card here. So that should power up. And I think this should be working. Possibly, maybe. We'll find out. Let's see. What does the pack actually want us to do as far as this is concerned? All right. So we have the inscriber. And it's going to give us 4 more inscribers. So that's awesome. We've got the energy acceptor. And it wants us to make an energy cell, and when we make an energy cell, it'll give us a dense energy cell, so that's cool. Next, it's gonna wanting us to get into pure crystals, so we can either do crystal seeds, or we have to do crystal seeds and the crystals themselves, and it wants us to use crystal growth accelerators to do that. We don't have to. We could just take stuff and toss it in water and then just sit here and wait for about 3.5-4 hours in real life and then maybe get a crystal to grow. But for reasons and such, we're actually going to use the growth accelerators. Now, as for the energy cell itself, this is just really simple. It's just quartz glass with some certus quartz and some fluix dust. So we just need to grab us a few of the fluix crystals here. We'll just say half a stack for now, and we just grind these boys down. There we go. And give us our energy cell, and make sure that we actually claim this so that we get the dense energy cell, because that is actually going to save us quite a bit of hassle here. We don't need this on us right now, so we'll just toss that in there. All right, so we have the inscribers made. We have the energy cell made. We have the energy acceptor. We need to get into the ME controller, and for that we're going to need pure fluix crystals, and we can actually do these inside of the enrichment chamber. So this is kind of, I don't want to say cheatsy, but it's going to make our life a lot easier. A lot of times you can't make these in an enrichment chamber. You actually have to start by making the crystal growth chambers and everything like that. So if we take fluix dust and toss it in the enrichment chamber, or fluix seeds, we'll get the purest, but we actually need to make fluix seeds anyway. So sand and fluix dust will make us a little bit of this goodies. So we'll just start off with 10. And do we have an enrichment chamber over here? I don't think we do, so we might as well make one real quick. And we can just toss this guy right next to all of our other stuff. Power cable there. Just toss down a enrichment chamber, and this obviously we can turn into a factory if we want to. We don't need it right now, so I'm not really gonna worry about it, but we'll just up it with power, and let's just see what happens if we how much power is this actually gonna take if we toss in all of them. So this is taking 200 RF to tick, so it's expensive, but at the same point in time we don't need it too much right now, so we can live with this. All right, we have 10 of our fluix crystals. And what did this get me? This gets me, we're gonna do fluix seeds, only because of the fact that they're a little bit harder to produce. Like, we have certus quartz and we have nether quartz. Fluix crystals we actually have to make, so we'll just run with these to begin with. All right, now that we have everything, we need to make ourselves an engineering processor. So for this, we need some redstone, diamond, and silicone. Oh, I see what I did wrong. I was looking at the circuit fabricator for lazy AE. I was like, oh, they switched the recipe. All right, so we need to make a printed engineering circuit and printed silicone. So we need to grab up our doohickeys over here. Right, so let's toss in our calculation into this guy, our logic into here, and our engineering over here, and then silicone, we can go right there. Now the problem, I don't want to say the problem, but one of the main reasons that a lot of people, like, the first thing they do in applied energistics, yeah, I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation of that name, so sorry. But one of the first things they do when they get into these is they upgrade these to either, I think it's the advanced inscriber or something like that, but we don't actually have that in this pack. So they do have the lazy AE, which is going to give us another option with these. And that's essentially one of the first things that we're going to have to work for. But the issue with these is they only do one item at a time. So I can't I'm shift clicking the silicone in, and it's never going to take more than this out. It will stack in the output, but you can't stack on the input. So it's a little bit unfortunate, but that is what that is. We do need to grab us some gold, and we're going to need to make us some pure certus quartz crystals. So for these guys, we can make us some seeds. We just need to get some certus quartz dust. And to help these guys along, so I'm not constantly like inputting items into these, I'm just going to hook some hoppers up to the back. So this is our silicone. We'll just drop that in here. This one is taking diamonds, and this one is gold. And then we have our pure certus quartz over there. Let me grab these, and we can just toss that in there. And what this will do is it'll always have the next input stage. So after this one processes, another one will fall in, and that's how we can somewhat automate this in the beginning. This one is a lot harder to automate. We can obviously automate these all with Ender IO if we really wanted to, but because we're not going to be keeping this, I'm not going to go through that entire process. But like this one, you need to have an input from the top, you need to have an input from the back, and then usually an input from the bottom. And then I believe they actually output from the front only. So you essentially need to have like a cage of conduits set around them. And it turns out looking pretty funky. So I don't do it unless I absolutely have to. But we needed these guys right here, and we needed some of these guys because we actually need to make, for our controller, we need to make one of these engineering processors, and that's just the circuit from the diamond and the silicone with a piece of redstone, and then you get the processor itself. So we're just gonna make up that real quick, and then we should actually be able to make our controller. We do need the skystone though, which we have cooking over here. Skystone you just get from the meteorites, where you actually find the presses. So it's not that it's super hard to find. It's just that you do have to go out and look for it. All right, so we have our controller here. We'll toss that up in our system. And what did we actually get for the controller? We get nothing for the controller. Okay, I see how it is. Change the channel, learn about channels. Okay, so channels are a system unique to AE2. Cables can only support so many channels. You can theoretically have normal cables, a dense cable, blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, so this is just talking about channels. If you don't know, if you never used AE before, think about it like this. So your controller has 8 sides. Each side can support up to 32 machines. So this machine, this machine, this machine, and this machine, when they're connected to the AE system, are each going to be taking up a channel apiece. So if you have a whole slew of machines connected up, you can run out of channels really quickly. Also, when you start hooking up interfaces to them or export devices and stuff like that, those all count as channels as well. So 4 machines can very easily turn into like 16 connections. So that's what channels are, but we're gonna try to set things up so that we don't ever run into that problem. And the way we do that is with P2P channels or peer-to-peer channels, which we'll probably get into. I would suppose start getting into those next episode, because I don't think we're gonna make it that far there. But sometimes they can be a little bit hard to grasp, but for the most part, they're pretty straightforward. All right, so we have our controller, and now we need to actually make our ME drive. So this is the point where wow, talkie much, I cannot. So this is the device or the block that we actually need in order to store our hard drives for the system. We are missing an engineering press, and we're missing some of these cables. So these cables are just going to be crushed quartz with some glass. So let's see how many of these guys we can pop out. Let's just pop out, I guess, 36 for now. That should be good enough to get us started. But Applied Energistics gets very expensive very quickly, which is kind of why you want to start with your basic machines that you need and then move directly into automation as soon as you can, because otherwise you're going to be hurting. All right, so we ended up getting a stack of cables, and this gives us some covered cables. These essentially just help you differentiate the way things look. So we'll toss these in the system because we don't need these right yet. But yeah, the covered cables just give you the ability to dye the cable itself, right? So you could end up having like orange, blue, pretty much any of the dyes in the game, you can have that colored cable. But other than that, they are no different from the regular glass cables. It's not until you start getting into the smart cables, which have a visual representation of how many channels you're using per line, that you start really noticing any difference there. All right, so we have our controller and we have our drive. So the next thing that we need to look at is our interfaces here. So our ME terminal, we're going to need some formation cores and annihilation cores, which are going to be taking logic processors. So we need to get a couple of these guys up and going here. We have a few of each of these made up. So come back here. Let's grab some annihilation cores. We'll just grab 2 for now. We're going to need more. I always end up regretting the fact that I only make 2, but like I said, my goal right now is to get to where I need to go, and then we can kind of continue on. So we need a screen, which is just going to be some quartz glass, glowstone, and all this other goodies. Then we're going to need another logic press. I thought we had those. All right, we can toss you in the system. This is one of the reasons I can't wait to get into AE2. All of these, all this stuff just constantly just flowing in back into my inventory, and items dropping left and right. It gets bad. All right, and crafting terminal. There we go. So now we theoretically have everything that we're going to need to actually set a system up. We won't be able to store anything because, well, we don't have any storage drives, but we have the actual requirements for it. So, all right. So if we were to come over here and just say, just for now, grab up our dense energy cell, and actually we don't need that just yet because this is not going to take that much. But we grab our controller and our drive, which we completely forgot to make. But if we set our controller right up here, you can see it's getting powered. It starts flashing all these types of interesting little lights there. We can put our drive down, and that is not that is not a glass. That is a logic thing from Integrated Dynamics. And we'll just toss you up on here, and we control our controller on there. Now, if you remember, I did say that there were other colors for the cables themselves. So if we were to come over here and let's just say grab blue, right, or grab some lapis, toss everything back in the system, and we just make a circle with these guys and toss this out, we now have blue covered cables. If we were to take this, and you see the color of the terminal right now. Sorry for the shaders, but pop you on and then grab our terminal. We now have a blue terminal. So you can change the color of your terminal based upon the color of the cable that's actually connected to it. So it helps for aesthetics and all that other fun stuff. But now we actually need to get into the heart of the matter, and that is actually going to be drives. The things that we need to actually store. So it wants us to make an ME terminal here. Okay, so we got to make another one of these guys. All right, are you happy? And now we need to break you. Thank you. And it wants us to make a storage cell. So these are the parts that are going to get a bit repetitive here. I shouldn't say repetitive. These are the things that are going to get a bit expensive because each drive will only hold a certain amount of items. I think the 1K drives hold 1,000 items, which I think is roughly the same as a single chest. And then the 4K drives, I believe, hold about 2 double chests worth of items. However, they are maxed out by the number of items themselves. So each drive can only hold 63 different types of items. I want to say off the top of my head. So if I had 63 items and only one of each inside one of my drive, and then tried to toss another item into the system, it wouldn't actually be accepted because it wouldn't have the room. So there's an advantage to going like super big 64K drives, or sometimes packs will have things in so that you can have just an obscenely large drive. The downside of that is if you don't have, like, some packs don't have consistent resource injection where everything like that is automated and you're constantly getting stuff. So you're never really going to have that many items, but you might have a lot of different ones, like different types of bows and stuff like that. And so you can fill up your system really quickly with junk. So you want to try to do your best to utilize things like the Yaba barrels or the storage drawers and stuff like that to try to kind of filter stuff out. So you'll be like, hey, if it comes into the system, try to put it into the storage drawers first before it actually goes into one of the drives. Otherwise, you're just going to be making drives and drives and drives. So what I like doing is I like normally starting off with, I'll start with like the 4K drives, right? Because it helps me get a lot of stuff, usually what I've acquired so far in the game, into the system itself. And then as I start progressing and as I start automating things, I'll move up to like the 16K drives, but I usually don't go much higher than the 16K drives unless the game itself is giving it to me. So let's see what we actually need in order to make our 1K drive. So we're going to need some logic processors, and we're going to need some, looks like certus quartz here. So looks like we need to make ourselves a few more logics. So we have 15 of our logic processors. So we should, which one are we using here? Okay, we're just using regular certus quartz. So we should be able to make 15 of these guys. This is being a bit buggy. All right, so we have 15. And we actually want to make the 4K drives. So these are going to require 3 of the 1Ks and 1 of the calculation press, along with some quartz glass here. Let's just make up some more of the glass. I think we have everything that we need here. We have 15 of those. Obviously, we're not going to be able to make 15, but yeah, you know what I mean. All right, so let's grab up these 5 storage devices here. If it wants to work, there we go. And then we just need to get storage housing. All right, so these storage housing devices are fairly simple. Again, it's going to be a lot of repetitive items. So you're going to pretty much use quartz glass in everything, which is why it's important to have a lot of it. So let's just make up 4 of these to begin with. Yeah, we'll just do 5. We'll fill up the first drive just with 4Ks. And we can just toss this in here along with that. And these won't stack, so we gotta kind of have to be careful. I'm getting a decent amount of lag. It doesn't want to shift click them into my inventory, so there we go. And did we get anything good from this? We got 64 1K device. Wow, that is a reward right there, guys. That is awesome. That's going to save us a lot of resources. So that's nothing to shake a stick at there. But we can just toss all of these guys in here, and now if we wanted to, we could toss items into our ME system. So what I need to do is start transferring everything from these chests right here into the ME system. So the way that I think I'm going to do that is I'm probably going to kind of do these chests in waves. And what I'll do is I'll hook all of these guys up to a I think I'll just do the easy way and just do Ender IO and then just do chest to chest, because we do have, I don't know why I'm looking in there like I'm actually gonna have anything in there to use. But so if we get an export bus, we could export items. I see this is the point in time where I always get confused. Export always makes me think like I'm exporting items into the system, but I believe it's you're importing items into the system and you're exporting items out of the system. So I think we need to get an importer. Import bus. So we're going to need annihilation core and a sticky piston, and we don't have either one of them, and we need more logic presses again. Urgh. All right, let's try this again. Annihilation cores and a sticky piston. go. And we now have our import bus. So if we hook this up to I know we got a chest around here. Let's grab this gold chest, and I believe, yeah, we have conduits, but we can just put this guy down right here, put on the importer, and then just kind of lead him over into the ME drive itself here. So that should, anytime we put something in here, for example, what don't we really want? Let's just take this. We toss that in there and then come over here. We now have a cable in the system. And then for the rest of these guys, what we'll do is we'll just extract them into this chest. And then we'll just kind of have to wait. I don't have the speed upgrades that I'm going to need for this, but so I am going to just have to sit here and AFK and allow this to empty itself out. But I'm going to start getting this going, and then I will meet you guys back as soon as all of this stuff is transferred over. I am just finishing cleaning stuff up over here. Just got to put the final touches over here. I did remove all of the integrated dynamics, and we got everything over into our system itself. One hint I will give you, or warning, whatever you want to call it. Where did all you guys come from? When you do the integrated dynamics, if you decided to go that route in this pack, and you're taking the item interfaces off of the chests, make sure that you're clearing them before you put them into the system. So if I go, see how there is this one item interface right here and it says ID 16. So the moment you attach an item interface to a chest or any type of storage device, it gains a personal ID. So if I just try to put them all into the system, that would have been 35 individual items. So, but if you toss it into a crafting gear and just recraft it, they'll restack up. So word to the wise there. Don't waste your system, because even those few chests that I had set up over there, if we look in our drive here, it pretty much filled up all of my drive. I ended up having to make all of the 4Ks. Each drive itself is only about half full, but the number of items that they can hold are all full except for this last one here. So currently I can only put in an additional, like 56 items or something like that, or new types of items, before the system won't take anything. So I'm going to have to make a few more of those drives in order to get this up and running properly. But I'm just kind of finishing this up, and then I want to figure out where I actually want to put the drive itself. There we go. And I think Applied Energistics has a wrench. Is it the certus quartz wrench or the nether quartz wrench? I'm not sure. I don't think it actually matters. All right, let's just grab you. Oh yeah, and I made 4 acceleration cards because it was taking way too long as it was. All right, so the way that our room is currently set up is it is in the position which I normally hate. It's an even number across. So that means we're going to have to make whatever setup we do for the Applied Energistics even number as well. So I'm kind of thinking of just placing it in the middle and having it 4 wide. And the reason I say 4 is because we're going to need a pattern terminal, obviously our crafting terminal, a liquids terminal, and then an interface terminal eventually. I don't think I'd go many more terminals other than that. Those are usually going to be your 4 basic ones. You could have a gases one, but I'm not sure if you can combine liquids and gases. So we're going to have it there, which means we'll probably just have a ring. Hello? I keep hearing stuff hit. We're probably just going to have a ring of controllers that goes around this. And then we'll just have the drives inside of here. So let me see if this is something that's feasible for us to set up right now, if it's just going to be way too much in resources. So give me a minuto. All right, so we got a little something started out here. Not sure if it's going to stay this size or if it's going to go bigger. But we moved our drive system over here. We have one of the drives here. Like I said, we may have to expand this to go even like one further out on each side, but I mean, this will still fit the 4 terminals. It's just not going to have a lot of room for anything else. So we may end up making it bigger, but we have our energy cell right here, which is probably going to get moved as well once I figure out what exactly I want to do. And we have our power supply down here. Now this will allow us, we have access to these 3 faces right here. And then, you know, if we move this, we can actually like dig down and get access to the faces down below as well. So that should possibly be enough. I'm not really sure. We might have to inset this one just so we have access to the side faces as well. But I think it's going to be quite a long period of time before we ever run out of, I mean, because we got 32, 32, 32. So we have 96 channels right here, another 96 channels right here. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get, what, 192 channels in this room. So for now, at least, this might be good. So we can just kind of close this up for now and toss everything back in there. And then I can, in between episodes, I can make another ME drive and kind of grind out more disk space and everything like that so that we have more room. But yeah, I have a very, 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 very strong feeling that this is going to be expanded out a little bit for us. But I think I'm actually going to call it an episode there, guys. Next episode, we are definitely going to be getting into lazy AE. I did a little bit of peeking into the recipe and noticed that it's going to take a lot more just sitting around here futzing around crafting before we can get into the inscribers and the other things that we need to automatically make fluix crystals and everything. So next episode, we'll definitely get into lazy AE and then hopefully start getting into our first automations or at least crafting recipes. So as always, hey, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. It helps me out a great deal. And until next time, be safe, stay awesome, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.